Spider-Man. Brand new day gives Peter 4 changes that should not exist at the same time: organic webs, completely black eyes, painful sensory overload, and bursts of strength so intense that even Peter starts fearing himself. At first, they look like random upgrades, but the movie connects every change to one thing Peter has been doing since No Way Home. He has stopped living as Peter Parker. So what triggered this mutation? Why did Bruce Banner's inhibitor work? And is Peter becoming a stronger Spider-Man or something far more dangerous? Major spoilers begin now. Before we move ahead, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to channel, and share it with a friend who enjoys this kind of content. Also, comment below and tell me your favorite part of the video so far. 4 years after Doctor Strange's spell, Peter lives almost entirely as Spider-Man. He fights crime every day, works alone, and watches MJ and Ned from a distance without allowing them back into his life. Then his body starts changing. The first sign is sensory overload. Peter's hearing, reflexes, and spider sense becomes so intense that ordinary information feels impossible to control. Then comes the biggest change: Peter wakes up, producing organic webs directly from his wrists. Tom Holland's Spider-Man no longer depends completely on mechanical web shooters. His body creates the web itself. The film does not give one complete scientific explanation, but it connects the change to an imbalance in Peter's spider DNA and the extreme pressure placed on his body. The mutation is not only adding abilities, it is removing the distance between Peter and the spider. The next change is increased strength and aggression. When Peter becomes overwhelmed, his eyes turn black and his behaviour becomes harder to control. He reacts faster, hits harder, and struggles to stop once instinct takes over. That is why he goes to Bruce Banner. Banner understands what it means to carry power that can overpower the person using it. Peter studies Banner's inhibitor technology and creates a device designed to suppress his newest mutations. For a while, it helps his senses become manageable, and Peter feels closer to the version of himself he understands. But the inhibitor does not cure him, it only holds the evolution back. That becomes clear in the final battle. Jean Grey's psychic power spreads across New York, and Peter realizes he cannot reach her while limiting himself, so he removes the inhibitor. The black eyes return, his strength rises, and Peter finally uses the mutation without completely surrendering to it. The new powers are not a separate villain living inside Peter. They are part of him. The danger comes from his inability to regulate them. By the ending, the mutation has not been reversed, and the movie never confirms that the organic webs or heightened abilities are temporary. The safest conclusion is that these powers remain part of Peter for now, but he still does not fully understand them. The movie also never confirms Man-Spider, Venom, or any other comic book transformation, so those ideas remain theories. Now the deeper meaning begins. Peter believes the problem is his body, but Brand New Day shows that his real crisis started much earlier. At the end of No Way Home, Peter loses everyone, but here, loneliness is no longer only something that happened to him. It becomes a system he chooses every day. He avoids MJ, avoids rebuilding with Ned, and turns nearly every part of his life into Spider-Man work because being useful feels safer than being known. The more completely Peter suppresses his human identity, the more loudly his body changes. Peter is trying to become only Spider-Man, so his body begins becoming more spider than man. The organic webs are the clearest symbol. Mechanical web shooters were something Peter designed and controlled. Organic webs come from inside him. There is no machine and no clean separation between the person and the power. The black eyes express the same conflict. When pressure overwhelms him, the thoughtful Peter disappears and instinct takes over. He becomes stronger, but less able to choose what kind of hero he wants to be. Bruce Banner is Peter's warning. He shows what can happen when power and identity are treated like enemies that must constantly suppress each other. An inhibitor may create temporary control, but it cannot create acceptance. Peter changes when he stops treating the mutation as proof that he is becoming a monster. He removes the inhibitor, uses the power, and still chooses compassion when he reaches Jean. That choice matters more than the upgrade. The movie is not saying stronger powers make Peter a better Spider-Man. It is saying power becomes safer only when Peter remains connected to the part of himself capable of empathy. What the film confirms is simple. Peter's powers have moved closer to the spider side of his DNA. Emotional pressure makes them harder to control, and isolation is making the problem worse. Peter thought becoming Spider-Man full-time would protect everyone. Instead, it nearly erased the person responsible for making Spider-Man a hero, and that is the unseen pattern behind Peter Parker's new powers.